Hello guys, Marcus Wolf here, welcoming you back to another episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Last time we left off, we finished the investigation. That's really all there is. Now we're going into the trial where things start to take a bit more shape. Hopefully for the better and not the worse. Oh dear. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. The prosecution will show that... The prosecution will show the court that the 2:30 p... Wow, I butchered this sentence completely. The prosecution... I give up. That's it, I'm done. Bye! Okay, no, seriously. The prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer in Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well, I would like to move on to some testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. Very well. I call a most familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guard map here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio, see? This here is the employee area. The actors did a run-through of their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. The security lady that works at the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station is a gate. Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder, where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee room until noon. Then after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now, jump ahead to later that day, 5 p.m. The production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. The time of death was 2:30. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Anyone would like to hear that again? Should I listen to that whole thing again? Oh God, no. I'm not doing Gumshoe 2.0. I think I can probably remember that. So, the murder weapon was a spear. How medieval. Stuck in the victim's chest. And just in case... Yeah, that's it, okay. Your Honor, this case is quite simple if you ask one question. And that is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Now let's call the security officer to the stand. Oh boy. Motor Mouth is about to join the stand. Will the witness declare her name? Oh God. My, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. No! Your name, please. Oh, dearie, no need for you to be so embarrassed. Just call me Grandma. Your name, please. Seems Edgeworth is having a bit of trouble getting his witness to say their names. Oh, okay. Wendy Oldbag, dearie. Oh, we finally get a name, and oh my God, it's actually Oldbag. Okay, fine. Wendy Oldbag. So just call me Granny. So you only over. Oh God. I'm not gonna try. I was so unprepared for this. Ha ha. I was caught off guard for that. Objection! I object to this witness's talkativeness. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. Oh, I was just getting to the good part, dearie. Perhaps we can get to the testimony. Now, the witness was stationed at the main gate the day of the murder, correct? You say I was. And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you? You know your stuff, dearie. You may begin your testimony. She sure is one hell of an old bag. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through there since the morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30, right? Interesting to me, because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading toward the studio. You saw the defendant, then? Very well, let's begin the cross-examination. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. Oh boy. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. So up until that time, anyone who wanted to could go to the studio. Well, there wasn't a security guard at the gate, no. But the main gate was locked, dearie. You'd need an employee card key to get in. Oh, right, the card key that I have. So what she's saying is no one who wasn't supposed to be there could get in. Was there anyone at the studios when you arrived at the guard station? Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through there since the morning. I made a boo-boo. A run-through? Oh, they were working out a scene between the Steel Samurai and the evil magistrate. They got the basics figured out by noon and were to use the afternoon for practice. Rehearsal was supposed to start at 5. That's why poor old Hammer went to Studio 1 in the afternoon. So Powers was in his dressing room sleeping when he was supposed to be practicing. Ish, talk about a laid-back hero. If there was a run-through in the morning, why did you only get there afternoon? I had some errands to run that morning. What kind of errands? Oh, well, you know. Answer the question. Actually, I was watching poor Hammer and Powers, observing, you know. Observing? Weren't you supposed to be at the guard station? Oh, whippersnapper, I told you I locked the gate, didn't I? I did my job. I'm not sure your boss would see it that way. Anyway, I always watch Hammer's run-throughs. Always. Never missed one in all my years. Wow, I want to see a Steel Samurai run-through too. You could quit... Oh god, 1 second. Ooh, that word came out the wrong way. Oh. Anyway. You could quit being a spirit medium and take up guard duty. Not a bad idea. Anyway, it was 1 when I got to the guard station. Did you see the victim then? Did I see poor old Hammer? Nope. He'd already gone to the studio before I got back to the guard station. Then tell us what happened next. I was at the main gate from then until 5. So you were watching there the whole time? No breaks, not even a second. Of course! I'm a professional, you know. Or are you criticizing how I do my job, whippersnapper? No, it's just after seeing you eat those donuts in the guard station yesterday. I can watch the gate and eat donuts at the same time. Snipper-wapper. Snipper-wapper? Old Windbag is losing it, Nick. Why don't you raise an objection? So the witness was on duty through the afternoon the whole time. Very well. What did you see? Now, the murder happened at 2:30, right? How did you know that? I have my ways. That overdressed young detective told me. I fed him some donuts and he talked and talked. If you ask me, that detective isn't cut out for his job. Oh, poor Detective Gumshoe getting ratted out by a security guard. Interesting to me, because a certain man walked right by me at 2. 2. You're sure? Sure as spit. Well, who was the man? Oh, really, you should try not to get so excited at your age. You might strain something. Now, don't get your skivvies all in a bunch. I'll tell you who it was. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was headed toward the studio. So you saw Mr. Powers? That's what I said. Got wax in your ears, sonny. Nick, this is your chance. Yeah, time to pull out the secret weapon. I'll say it again. It was him. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading toward the studio. Sorry to burst your bubble, miss, but someone in a Steel Samurai costume doesn't automatically make them Powers. Let me get this straight, old bag. Miss Old Bag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo-Old Tokyo. Miss Oldbag, is this the Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course! Didn't your mama teach you any sense, sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right? No, they can't. Well, I mean, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. I know that! I wasn't born yesterday! No one in this court is accusing you of that, Miss... witness. He's having trouble calling her old bag, apparently. However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you? Ha! Nosy old man. Of course I have proof. What? Huh? Even Edgeworth is surprised? The prosecution would like to ask the old... the witness. Please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time. Oh, how was I supposed to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look. Wow. Old Windbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof, then. Oh, boy. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad, too. Now, look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his leg. See? Clear as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy? So he had sprained his ankle. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. She's got to be hiding something. Oh, I'll press her until she squeals, and I'll take a drink of water until I am bloated. That sounded weird. Okay. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. Whippersnapper? Hey, I haven't said anything yet. I'll have you know I'm not pointing fingers at anyone behind their backs. Everything I've said is on the straight and narrow, the up and up. Youth today always whine about each other, pointing fingers this way and that is enough to make an old lady want to cry. Mr. Wright, please, for all our sakes, try not to upset the witness. I think Edgeworth has met his match. Anyway, that morning during the run-through of the action scene... who was present at the run-through? Well, let's see. There was Powers, he's the Steel Samurai. Then poor old Hammer, the evil magistrate. And me. And what exactly were you doing? Observing. Just observing. What about the assistant? Oh, she was all moving backdrops around and such. So she didn't see the run-through then. Anyway, I saw Powers trip and fall during that run-through. Trip and fall? Yes, and to think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. Huh, what a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course. You helped make it better? I kissed it where it hurt. Let's just skip over that part, shall we? Where was the assistant then? I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh. Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle. You may continue your testimony. He broke one of the props, too. Oh, it was such a big mess. He broke a prop. He sure did. His own samurai spear. His spear? The murder weapon? Luckily I was there with my duct tape to fix it. Well, this strikes me as a significant detail. I better write this down in the court record. Now that is good to know. The samurai spear is broken and mended with duct tape. Apparently he sprained his ankle pretty badly too. Was Mr. Powers' ankle badly sprained? Oh, not so bad that he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch. Thus the nap. Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked. Dragging his foot. Okay. I think we've heard enough. Haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there is one thing that bothers me. Which is? What is this Steel Samurai costume now? Actually, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. The witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes. And it is clear that the person in the Steel Samurai suit is Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right. Are you sure, Your Honor? Think about it, people. It's a costume. Anyone who knew that Powers was injured that day could easily wear and pose as him. It's not out of the blue. Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, but we all have to agree that this photo shows the Steel Samurai. Nowhere in it can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense does have a point. I also wonder if someone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider that possibility also. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please? Oh, no need to ask twice. The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30, true? The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. So if no one else went to the studio, there would have to be the Steel Samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30, true? Oh god, I did it again. How do you know that? Didn't I just explain? I gave donuts to the young detective. And then, after some rubbish about it being a secret pal, he told me everything. Well, I see Detective Gumshoe shares his fellow officer's fondness for donuts. The only reason I... What? Oh, person! Not the only reason. The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. Are you absolutely sure? Oh, quite, Sonny. Nobody suspicious looking passed by me at all. Nobody suspicious looking. Right. No one else went there. What about before you got to the guard station? You mean before one? Why, everyone was at the employee area before then. And I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Not to mention, if they had, I would have seen them. Are you sure? The witness has answered the question. Anyone going into the studio had to pass by the witness. That's right, Sonny. You let them have it, edgy boy. Edgy boy? Old Windbag sure has balls. Or, well, you know what I mean. Old Windbag sure has a way of skipping over important details. Or for that matter, entirely forgetting them. How convenient. Something for you to look forward to, perhaps? Ah, boy. Oh dear. Yes, that's true. 2:30, yes. Oh god. Uh-huh. Sorry, I'm thinking. I'm confused, and I can't look at my evidence because of that stupid thing I said. Ha! That is true, 2:30. And that is from your point of view, so that is also true. As far as we know. We can't be sure about that, but I'm pretty sure we don't have proof. Well, from 1 to 5, that's our thing. We're not talking about before. Yeah, and the only thing backing up the fact that you saw someone going in was that photograph. Oh, okay, yeah, that photograph. That photograph is number 2. If it's number 2, then where the hell is number 1? I just remembered. Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. This was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, right? Yes, sirree, Sonny. Oh, wow, that was terrible. So, whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture. And here I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground. Right. Anyway, it's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data. Oh, well, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening. That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo are printed the words, October 15th, 2 p.m., photo number 2. Oh, even I know that it means it was taken at 2 on October 15th. Really, Sonny. Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says, photo number 2. Photo number 2. Computer only held data for 1 photo on that day. So, don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1 if it really was the only photo? Order! Order! Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows that not 1 but 2 people went to the studio that day. Yet there is only data for 1 of the photographs. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access. The security lady herself. Me? You watch your mouth, whippersnapper. The only person I saw that day was Will Powers. But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, yes, that's what it would seem to mean. The witness explained this to the court. I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Eddie boy, help. Huh? Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either. Huh, some help you are. You're a whippersnapper too. Whippersnapper? Is something the matter, Miss Oldbag? Oh, that's right. I just remembered something. Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Someone other than the Steel Samurai. Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way. I see. Your testimony, please. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo that day. Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this. Well, of course, Sonny, I've only just remembered it. Right. Anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination. Well, I say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. One second. Water! Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. Another job. That's right. I check all the people that pass by the main gate that day. I look closely at every one of the photos that security camera takes. Do you back up all of the security camera data? Well, they keep telling me to, yes. But those computers are just so frustrating. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. How exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking? Oh, you can tell by looking at their faces, for the most part. For the most part? Ugh, this is a murder trial, Miss Oldbag. Well, I didn't touch that suspicious-looking Will Powers photo now, did I? I think she's missing the point. Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo that day. Well, who in the heck was in that photo you erased? Huh, a fanboy. Fanboy? Steel Samurai fanboys. Real freaks if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsal from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. One was there that day. Wait a second. Didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words. Well... if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. The grate has been loose for a while. It leads outside and, well, that's where they come in. They come in through the drain? I told you they were freaks. Oh, and... And? They're kids. Children. Whippersnappers. Kids? So, on the photo that you erased? It was a boy. Probably 2nd or 3rd grade. What? Order! Order! Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was Steel Samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be in about 2nd or 3rd grade. Oh, yes, well, we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him. A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade. Huh. I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield a samurai spear? Impossible, I'd think. It's quite heavy. Right. As I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data. Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there, so that makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. This court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time. Oh boy. To be perfectly fair, I think I will take a break here because my voice is desperately dying and I do need to take a break. So I will see you guys in a hot moment.